UFC 241 has now concluded, and it was a good event. I didn't watch the prelims. I just watched the last three fights on the card. So I watched the Anthony Pettis and Nick Diaz and DC and Stipe and Yo Romero and what's the guy's name? Costa. So I forgot his first name. And Costa. No, they're all really, really good fights. But right now, I want to talk about DC and Stipe. This was like really a fight of like two, if it like for lack of a better term, two halves. Even though it was 5 rounds, and I guess there is a halfway point anyway. Round one happened, and I was watching this thinking, wow, DC was completely outclassing Stipe. Now, I'm watching Stipe about maybe since like 2010, and I was really heavy into around 2010 to like 13, then 13 to like 17 I took a gap and I was really casual and I watched the big fights. And now I'm not a hardcore fan, but I catch quite a lot of events in the UK. Right now, 6 in the morning. UFC events can be finish extremely late. But so I'm more of a boxing guy. And in boxing, sometimes when a boxer gets knocked out in his previous fight and they have their next fight afterwards, they normally not shocked, but they'll fight more nervous because they don't want to be dropped or knocked out the same way they were in the first fight. So they might be a bit more reluctant to take risks or throw a punch because they might be a bit nervous or come back at them and whatnot. And I kind of got this slightly from Stipe in the first round, and he was trying to adjust as well in the first round. Stipe really was trying to. You can see in that first round, DC just outdone him. Now Stipe, one thing I did like about him in the first round, he was better with his range, and he got better with his range as it went on, except for the second and third. Especially the second round. He was using his range pretty good in this first half, but DC took him down, wrestled him, landed a lot of punches. DC was landing some. He would like grab your hands. Then as he was letting go of your hands, he'll throw an elbow. I'm not sure what that's called, so your UFC heads can let me know down below what that's called. I'm sure what's the name for it. He was just landing some good 1-2, some good elbows. When he took him down, he completely dominated him in the first round. I was thinking, wow, DC just looks like he's just a far superior fighter. Long before the fight, DC was saying stuff like, oh, Stevie just isn't good. He's good, but he just isn't good enough to beat me. And that's probably just talk for the fight. I'm sure obviously he does respect him a lot, but obviously as a fighter he has to be confident. Then second round came, and in between, after the first round, you can see Stipe's corner were very concerned, and they were you can see Stipe looks like he's a bit annoyed at himself. I think at one point he grunted in the corner, like he was a bit angry at himself because of the beating, how he got completely out wrestled. He got beat on the wrestling and the standing. Then it comes second round now, and I gave the second round to DC, but I didn't like the way he was fighting in the second round now. In the second round, I think DC not went for the kill, but DC let off a lot of punches in this round. He was letting off a lot of hard punches, and I think he was sort of looking for the same punch that knocked out Stipe in the first fight. Now, Stipe, for me, has a very good chin. Against Francis Ngannou, you saw Stipe took a lot of punches, and he was able to eat them, keep Francis Ngannou on the floor, and obviously get the victory in the end just through basically keeping him on the ground wrestling. You don't understand if Francis, because that guy lands on you, you're going to sleep. He got that one hit quitter. Alright, obviously couldn't look at Stipe, don't hit a quitter, but Stipe's got really good chin. So I think that one punch DC landed him on Stipe DC1 was just perfect. Right on the bottom, perfect punch, got him, put him to sleep, he got him easy. Look at this split, round one done. But I think DC's looking for it now, and Stipe's got such a good chin. I bet you got to hit him perfectly or just be a lot more heavy-handed to really get in there. And DC couldn't really do it, but DC did, for me, win this round that he dominated. But one thing I didn't like was DC looked like, because of how the first round ran, he didn't respect Stipe. He was walking to Stipe with his arms down. He was walking with his hands down, just walking straight at him. And Stipe was firing off some punches, and Stipe started landing some good punches in that second round. And after the fight, DC said, he was landing punches that weren't really hurting me. Like, DC is smart enough to know, even if the punches are not hurting you, as a fighter, you want to minimize the amount of damage you take to your head. Hurting or not, your brain's still in there getting rattled. So even though it wasn't hurting, it's still accumulating damage. It's like a life bar when you're playing any sort of game. Every time you get hit, your life bar slightly goes down. Big or not, it's going down slightly. And DC was taking some punches in there. I'm tweeting out, my tweet down below, tweeting out why DC is standing there taking so many hits. Why is he not putting his hands up? Stipe started landing some more hits, but and again, I still get second on DC. DC on a lot of punches there. I think DC might have punched himself out slightly in this round, because in this round here, DC really started to like he really started to throw a lot of punches and huge punches, and Stipe just kept eating them. One thing about Stipe as well, man, Stipe got to start moving his head. Stipe was just standing in front of DC as well. He wasn't moving his head. He was eating like elbows and punches. Then we come, and then in the after the second round, you see DC's corner was talking to DC, and one of his guys said, I'm not sure all the people's names, said, keep your hands up. They came to the third round, and Stipe started to get more into it. He started finding his range a lot more, and I'm not sure. I think it was the third round where Stipe actually took DC down. DC rarely goes down. I think maybe people have taken DC down. It might have been Jones took him down, but yeah, Jones took him down, and I don't think anyone else taken DC down before. But yeah, DC was getting tired. Both of them were extremely tired, because that second round they lost a lot of energy. But DC, they both looked extremely tired. But then I'll get to later in the fourth, because Stipe made some adjustments. You can see Stipe's energy started to sort of come back to him quicker. Well, and Stipe is a lot younger. DC is now 40. And DC is literally one of the greatest fighters in my life. The guy is so good at what he does. But I'll get into that towards the end of the video. Yeah, he started to find his range a lot more. Stipe didn't jab enough for me, but he was starting to land some more better punches. He took DC down for a bit. DC got up, and it was a Stipe round. At this point, at the end of round 3, it was a lot more low volume, because DC came out at the start of round 3. He didn't really throw a punch for like the first, I want to say 40 or 50 seconds. He didn't really throw any punches, and that's because I think that round before, he let off so many punches. I think they needed seconds to, both of them needed time to really get the energy back. So they let off a lot of energy. I fight. I remember, this is a video for another day, but I remember Charles Sonnen saying he don't think any fight should be 5 rounds, because one, it broadens out a fight, because when fights are 5 rounds, fighters are not going to go in there trying to always knock you out. Well, obviously they won't win, but they have to consider it's 5 rounds. If we go 5 rounds, I can't burn myself out in the second round, going all out. So fighters are looking to conserve the energy. And I understand why it's 5 rounds. It's a championship fight, so there has to be added novelty to it. But I do agree with Charles as well in saying a fight that doesn't need to be 5 rounds for safety to the fighters and just more entertainment and whatnot. But I'll get to that for another video possibly. If you guys want to see it, let me know. Anyway, the 4th round comes in now, and DC looks completely tired. I didn't tweet it out. I wish I did. But, sorry, I have to go back a hot second. In that round 3, I'm thinking in my head, DC looks like, to me, he's thinking in his head, if I get through this fight, I'm serious. I don't speak about retirement, but DC looks like, if I get through this fight, I'm seriously going to consider retiring after this. He didn't save his for the fight, but I'm pretty sure he is. I don't think, there's no reason for you to come back. I remember saying something on the lines of on Eric Hawani, that he was saying how he doesn't really want to go out with his on a loss. He doesn't want to go out with his hands not being risen, and it's happened now, but it's fine. Like, no one's gonna ridicule him unless John Jones fight was there. But since he lost, that novelty isn't as there like it was before. But that's a video for another day. But yeah, DC kind of looked like, oh man, if I get through this fight, I'm seriously consider retiring, because this shit's hard. That's what it looked like to me in that 3rd round, because it was starting to get tough. In that 4th round, Stipe made his adjustment. And he started landing these body shots. He left hooks to the body, and DC looked dumbfounded. Like, not in his face, but DC just had no answer for the left hooks to the body. Because I've never really seen, again, I've not watched all Stipe's fights. So if Stipe's done this before, let me know. I know it's always difficult for the taller man to reach down for a shorter man and hit hooks to the body, because you really got to get down low. And Stipe doesn't fight short, he fights tall. So he had to just make adjustments. And Stipe kept either throwing a punch or feinting a jab and going right to the body. And he landed like 5 or 6 in a row. And we're going to say is, DC was already extremely tired, and Stipe Miocic looked like, to me, he was getting his energy back. It looked like he got like a second wind. Again, he's still tired obviously, but he looks like he's starting to get a second wind. And maybe it's because just like adrenaline. He's starting to land, he's starting to get success, and it's like a mental thing of like, okay, I got this. So Steve's landing his body shot. He landed 1. And I was like, God, Lee, he went 2, he went 3. That's like, what the fuck? DC make adjustments. And it was sticky because DC obviously wasn't ready for these hooks to the body. And because Stipe was all fainting into his head, this is similar to boxing. Because he was fainting into his head, DC didn't know whether to block his head or his body at what point. Because if you sit there and you just touch your body, your head's open and you're gonna start landing headshots on you. And you have to be careful with headshots because when you're tired, obviously you've got less oxygen going to your brain, and that could just play into you getting knocked out, and it could be obviously a bad knockout. And yeah, Steve trying to gauge him. Sometimes he checked the body shots maybe once or twice, but they'll get harder and harder and harder. And Stipe's accuracy was so on point. So landing right on the best points. And Stipe just hit him in the body one time. Again, for me, it's 6th or 7th time within like a minute and a half, maybe like 90 seconds or 2 minutes. And Stipe, you can see he really hurt DC. DC started backing up a lot. And Stipe got him, dragged him, got him on the side of the cage. And then you play the UFC. If you ever watched the fight, and then you play the UFC game, there's that one UFC 3. Now one knockout, the guy's lying on the cage and like they're lying but they're sitting in the cage and you sort of punch their head into the cage. The knockout was basically just like that. DC was sitting there, Stipe started throwing at him, throwing shots. DC sort of slouched, more shots, and it was done. And I was like, damn. DC, I've always liked DC. When I first got back into UFC, when I got back into UFC really heavy. I never stopped watching UFC completely. I was really casual, so I didn't watch any of DC's fights before John Jones won. I didn't watch any of his fights before that. I don't think. I may have watched the one just before. Anyway, I didn't know that much about DC. I don't know people used to hate on DC. I don't know if you remember, but before the first John Jones fight, a lot of people were hating on DC. I don't know why. I didn't understand why. If anyone knows why DC got so much hate, they will know down below. But DC was getting a lot of hate. I didn't understand it. But I liked him. I didn't see why people hated him. He came across as just normal and cool, and he didn't come across as dicky at all. I think I watched his fight before, and I think he got actually booed. Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, the DC fight before John Jones won, I think he got booed. I was like, why the fuck they booed him for? What did he do? Anyway. Good fight. Congrats to Stipe Miocic. He gave an interview after. I had no idea what Stipe was saying, but that's Stipe for you, innit? DC said he's not sure he's going to retire or not. He's going to go back to his wife and stuff. I imagine DC's wife's probably thinking, listen, you're done. You know how wives... No, I haven't got a wife, obviously, but you know how a lot of fighters are. If you watch boxing, Tony Bellew, I remember saying for years his wife really wanted to stop boxing because obviously it's a dangerous sport, man. It's a dangerous sport. DC doesn't need it. He can go into other stuff now. And I've always said about fighters, man. I don't like when fighters fight for too long. And I understand if your body can go, you can go. But it's always like, how long do you go for? Do you just go until you get a devastating knockout? Because when you keep fighting until you get knocked out devastated, those are the ones that affect you when you're 50 and 60 years old and your partner's drunk and your speech is slurred and you're off a tiny bit. Those are those type of fights. So why not tell it? Unless they're going to offer him big money for Jones free, that heavy, I don't see why. There's no reason for him to even fight. And I think that's the same for him. I think him saying unless it's Jones, I don't think he wants to fight again. No point. There's literally no point. But good fight. Congrats to Stipe. I'm looking for DC. DC is still one of the greatest of all time, man, at this sport. At this time now, we're very privileged to even see hybrid these fighters, man. In both boxing and UFC. Man. We've got Jones and DC and we've got Khabib and we've got what's his name? Max Holloway and all these fighters, man. Obviously had Mighty Mouse, where he's gone to. Where's Mighty Mouse gone to? I think he's gone to. Is it ONE FC he's gone to? Yeah, I think he's gone to ONE FC. We've got all these good fighters, man. And other interesting fights happening. Oh, and also Nate Diaz called out Jorge Masvidal. So that'd be a good fight. I think Jorge was smoking, but hey, that's my video for another day. But anyway, if you watch the video, subscribe if you're new. I try to be consistent on the channel, but I get busy sometimes. I got to change the name of the channel as well. I think it's called Boxing Something. Well, if you got this far, you'll hear this. I might just cut it out. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. See you guys on another one. Subscribe. Bye. Peace.